Hi, greetings and welcome to all the viewers. We are once again having a podcast wherein we have invited a very special guest and a very close friend of mine, Mr. Shankar Muralidharan. He is a great philosopher, I would say, a great speaker, and a very good career counselor. So we welcome you, sir, and it is an honor to host you here at our office. You have come all the way from Pune. We are really thankful by all our heart, and hope this podcast would be a great experience for all these viewers, those who are watching. So, parents, students, and teachers. So, let's begin with this podcast. Sir, we would like to know, first of all, your journey, like how you have been reaching at this place. You have been a leader, you have been an entrepreneur, you have been a career counselor. So, we want to have some sort of your journey in brief.
uh, Year 2000, the millennium started, and I passed out of my engineering in the year 2000. And those days, and even these days, most of our engineers get jobs in the IT sector,
Hmm.
irrespective of whether you are from computer science or mechanical or whatever you are. Same happened with people like me. We got a job in coding.
Oh.
Big coding organizations like TCS and Ramco Systems, and they were typically my hiring partners those days. Started off with coding. That is when I discovered that I was a mathematics topper in university, Bombay University, all 5 semesters, and maths was in genes. And my
Oh.
grandfather was a faculty with NIT Trichy, REC Trichy, and so on. My mother was a school principal, and I came from a very heavy academic background,
Oh.
but I did not like coding.
Okay.
I knew it, I could excel, but I did not like it. It is like that girlfriend whom you don't want to marry, half girlfriend, just want. So then I said, what to do? I go in the morning, come in the evening, I spend months doing that. And then suddenly, one gentleman entered my life. He was my mentor, my boss for 12 years. He himself was a chemical engineer, an MBA from one of the reputed institutions in this country, top 20. And he went on to join a company called as IMS Learning Center.
Okay.
So he was one of the co-founding employees of IMS, among the first 3, 4, 5 employees to sort of join the organization. He was my mentor and boss for 12 years, continues to be one. He said, why don't you try your hand in teaching? And I didn't have exposure to teaching, but I said, चलो करते हैं. पहली बार कोई मिला है जो रास्ता दिखाने की बात कर रहा है. And I was 20, he was 30, so good 10-decade-old gap. I said, let's start. That's how I entered this company called IMS, a very ethical organization. I was again among the first 25, 30 employees to join IMS. Very young organization, a small startup, very few branches. 12 years with him in this journey. He went on to become the CEO, director, test prep. I went on to head numerous cities in IMS. So IMS Lucknow, IMS Indore, a lot of IMS Bombay centers, even IMS Ahmedabad, IMS Goa, Coimbatore, Dubai, a lot of these centers.
I've heard you used to have 2,000 students at one center.
Absolutely, 4,000. IMS Lucknow was...
IMS Lucknow was big and Shankar Muralidharan was huge.
So my forte was turning around dead centers, turning around centers they were not doing well. जहां भी कोई भी दिक्कत थी, प्रॉफिट में नहीं है, शंकर को भेज दो. That is how it used to be.
It used to be like
and
that.
Me and my team did a remarkable job. So 12 years of turning around. The good thing is I left Bombay, a place where I spent my entire teenage, almost 10, 15 years being in Bombay, 10, 12, graduation, post-graduation. Bombay teaches you life in a big way.
Yes.
And suddenly I have to leave Bombay, which very few Mumbaikars do. Because for people in Bombay and New York, that is the world. Very few Americans leave America, very few Mumbaikars leave Bombay. I was lucky to be the one to leave. So I got a pan-India experience, international as well. So I was in Lucknow for a couple of years, Indore for a couple of years, Hyderabad for a couple of years, Pune for some time, all heading IMS centers, turning around dead, dying IMS centers. And that is when I got exposed to career counselling, where there were hardly 200, 300 students. Within 15, 16 months, we would scale it up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 students, and massive scale, lot of learning, huge blunders committed, but that's how you learn, the plus, the minus, and so on. Last 2 years of being in IMS test prep, there was this institution called Great Lakes. It's called Great Learning now. Virat Kohli is a brand ambassador and so on. So Great Lakes Institute of Management set up a subsidiary college in Bombay called as Mumbai Business School. Dr. Sunil Rai, who was with SPJN for almost a decade, he became the first CEO of this Great Lakes sister concern. They came to IMS, they came to my boss, they came to me, and they said, why don't you market our business school? That's
Okay.
how my exposure to higher education marketing started.
Mm-hmm.
I always taught with SP Jain, with ICFI Business School Hyderabad, with Symbiosis, with a couple of IIMs.
So
I
from
used to,
test prep to higher education straight away.
absolutely. So I was a part of the academia in terms of doing a few guest lectures or maybe taking one or two subjects, a visiting faculty. But I never thought I'll market higher education. This was the turning point. 2010, 11, 12, we marketed multiple batches of this Great Lakes subsidiary college in Bombay, and it was an outsourced model. So I think it was the first time in India where a B school outsourced its marketing to a third party, saying, boss, you manage the website, you manage our students, you manage everything, and we'll give you X% of the revenue share. A very organized way of doing. I mean, these days, again, sorry to say this, but every second coaching institution, every second, even a Ravi Book Depot in Lucknow has become a consultant, selling students to B schools. He might not even have seen those B schools there. वहाँ नल में पानी आएगा नहीं आएगा पता नहीं, बच्चे का placement होगा नहीं होगा पता नहीं. But students are sold to these colleges, and in turn he gets a commission. So mine was a very different model. Our model was we will not sell a kit to a college. What we will do is we'll outsource the complete batch.
Correct.
And we'll also be part of training and placement in some capacity. So I can always tell the student, the B school you're joining is not a business school. I am part of that B school. You'll find my name on the website. I'm a faculty there.
So the moment student gets in and the moment student goes out, so the entire responsibility,
the complete journey is because we're part of academic interface, we're part of corporate relations, and we are 100% outsourced marketing partners. That's how I got exposed to higher education. 3 to 4 years we did this, wonderful experience. I got to know how a brand like Great Lakes or a brand like SPJ and Bombay are being marketed. In spite of being brands, they still had to be marketed. Once a great person said, even a best marketer cannot sell an inferior product. At the same time, even the best product needs marketing.
Absolutely.
So we understood that even the best brands need marketing. We did that. That is when the Great Lakes Deputy Dean, the then Great Lakes Deputy Dean, he was setting up an institution in Hyderabad called as Voxen Business School. Now it's called Voxen University. I was again one of the first 3, 4, 5 members to start. First director admissions, director marketing with Voxen Business School. Voxen was a 200-acre campus, 6-hole golf course inside the campus. I had to market the PGDM and the PGPX, the 2-year and 1-year programs. I was there for almost 3 to 4 years. We had a couple of IITians in a couple of batches. We had students from Flame University, Sri Ram College of Commerce, diversity. When I keep saying this, Dr. Amartya Sen, and I'm sure all of us know Amartya Sen, he was once asked the question. He said, sir, the BBC guy asked him, the British broadcasting journalist asked him, sir, tell us something about yourself. And Dr. Amartya Sen, who's the first Indian to win a Nobel Prize in economics, and he says, and I quote, he said, my name is Amartya Sen. I'm an Asian, an Indian citizen, a Bengali with Bangladeshi ancestry, an American and British resident, an economist, a dabbler in philosophy, an author, a Sanskritist, a man, a feminist, a heterosexual, but I firmly believe in gay and lesbian rights. Also believe in democracy and secular values. I come from a Hindu, non-Brahmin, non-religious background, and I firmly believe in before life and after life.
Such is the diversity
of that one individual. And then he says, hang on, this friend of mine, this female colleague of mine, this half-sister of mine who actually helped me win the Nobel Prize, she is an American citizen with half Caribbean, half West Indian ancestry.
Amazing.
She is a woman, a liberal, a vegetarian, a long-distance runner, a jazz musician, theatre lover, environmentalist, tennis fan.
What not?
She's heterosexual, and she also believes in gay and lesbian rights. She also believes in democracy and secular values. And she believes that aliens exist outside the Milky Way galaxy, and it's very important to talk to these aliens, preferably in English.
In English.
We did this at Voxen.
Wonderful.
We made sure the batch had a 1:1 ratio male, female, 1:1 ratio urban, rural, and we were heading towards the 1:1 ratio Indian international. A lot of diversity happened. So Voxen was there for 4 years. And then, of course, the turning point happened. Flame University, because every year a lot of Flame University kids would join Voxen for MBA. Flame had their own MBA, and a lot of kids would leave Pune.
I know, because there's a lot of credit that goes to you for how Flame is, on its platform today. So you have done a great job.
Well, I was one of the founding marketing directors of Flame. Because Flame didn't have a proper admissions marketing team till we joined. So me and my team of almost 5-6 people, all ex-Voxen, ex-IMS guys joined in Flame, set the marketing team, scaled up the applications many-fold, 1,000 times, from X to almost 3X, 5X, whatever. Challenges at Flame were different. I spent almost half a decade there. Challenges at Flame were different. This was a university which had access to a 16-hole golf course, one of Asia's largest golf resorts. Voxen was 6, he was 16. The price point was very high, 8 to 9 lakhs per annum in terms of doing an undergrad. So it could be a BBA program or a BA or a BSc or an MBA. Any program you did, be it liberal education
The
or
first
management
liberal education
institution in the country.
institution in the country.
And Flame spoke about things even before NEP actually happened. So all these major minor combinations, interdisciplinary learning. You can do a psychology major with a music minor, or a philosophy major with a design minor, or a mathematics major with a classic, something like a theater, dance, drama minor, a double majors. All of these things Flame began talking since 2007. So I think Flame taught us, and Flame was my first exposure to undergraduation. It taught us a couple of things. A, India is a country where our biggest problem today is not poverty or COVID-19 or corruption. One of our biggest problems is confusion.
Absolutely.
Career
The
confusion.
most confused, I would say, country in the world.
Perhaps. Whole of Asia and more India, more particularly India.
Be it politics or be it at a grassroots level, we all are considered to be really confused with where we are heading.
I mean, we don't know what we don't know. I mean,
Yes.
stop down. It is not just that students studying in a school in Meerut or a school in Ghaziabad or a school in Gurugram or a school in one of the corners of. I met this gentleman. He was the vice president with one of the top banks, Standard Chartered Bank in India, 43, 44 years of age. He came to me for career counselling when I was in Voxen, because Voxen had this 1-year full-time program. He's on my LinkedIn. And he, at 44 years of age, an IIT product, having worked in the banking system for 15, 20 years with ICICI, Kotak Mahindra, now with Standard Chartered, in the leadership team, tells me his salary is a few crore rupees per annum. And this gentleman tells me, in a 5-star hotel in Bombay in 2015, this guy says, Mr. Shankar, I don't want to go to office on a Monday morning. I hate going to office on a Monday morning. Imagine, this is a guy who signs checks worth crores of rupees, outstanding lifestyle, breakfast with Narendra Modi, lunch with Amitabh Bachchan, next day dinner with Barack Hussein Obama or Trump or whatever. If that kind of a gentleman in his mid-40s is, and then we dug deep saying, Mr. XYZ, I don't want to name him because Mr. XYZ, why you are the who's who? You are among the top 100, top 200 guys in this country in terms of corporate. Why do you don't want to go to office on a Monday morning? And he says, and I quote, when he was a teenager, 13, 14, 15, in the 1970s or 80s or whatever, his interest was music, theater, dance, drama, psychology, sociology. And his father was an IIT Kharagpur product then, gave him a tight slap and said, an IITian son.
Yeah.
So this guy went into an IIT,
Okay.
then went to an IIM, followed the conventional way, went to Stanford, did something, came back, and 20 years of banking. I'm happy to say this gentleman today is in UK practicing music management.
Okay.
We actually counsel people of that age group. So confusion is something that percolates. I was part of a Times of India conference. I did some work for Times of India at a very senior level some point of time. I was part of a conference where we had 65 to 70 CEOs of India, all the big guys, LG, Samsung, GE, Pepsi, Sony, all the big guys, Godrej, etc. A lot of them, it was a conference which spoke about many things. McKinsey was part of that. Harvard Business Review was part of that. Multiple things happened in that conference. And one thing which I would like to say is, 65 to 70% of India's top CEOs, these are big guys once again. A lot of them share the same emotion that Mr. XYZ at Standard Chartered had. 65 to 70% of them did not like to go to office on a Monday morning. Now, if this can happen to the country's who's who, what are
So
you talking
imagine
about?
to a common man. Yeah.
We are an ecosystem with around 1,200 plus universities, private, public put together, 50,000 colleges, 4 lakh schools, out of which 25,000 are not in the budget category. They come in the IB, IGCSE, CBSE. 4 to 5 crore students in that ecosystem, and many, many more in the 13 to 23 age group. And we must understand, Mr. Love, that the students you're dealing with today, these 4 to 5 crore students in the higher education system, and perhaps more than double of that in the schooling system, the K-12 system, that's almost 10 to 15 crore or maybe
It is
higher.
around 15 crores. You're right.
Huge. 15 crore Indians who are in that 10 to 25 age group bracket. Most of them are born post 2000.
Correct.
Now, when you and I were their age,
Correct.
we had to wait for 8 years for a Bajaj two-wheeler.
Absolutely.
When you and I were their age, we had to wait for 8 years for a landline phone. We had to wait for
Correct.
6 years for a car loan, a home loan.
Absolutely.
I'm told a leading bank in America is coming up with a concept called girlfriend loan. You can get a girlfriend loan. That's where 2024 India is a very different India. You can get a home loan or a car loan in 2 days. You can buy a mobile phone. This is not the India that we grew up with. So we understood, be it the evils of partition, be it red tapeism, be it bureaucracy, be it the license rat, we've all seen parts of it in some capacity. People in India born after 2000, irrespective of what caste, creed, color, culture, cuisine, costume, contour, context, whether they have a consensus or not, the millennials, the people born in India past 2000, haven't seen this India,
Absolutely, what was there in the past.
which is where the kind of expectations you need to have with them as a counselor. My first job is to connect with them at a heart, on a heart level.
Correct.
These are kids who have not known what it is to live without a telephone or a mobile phone or a television. These are kids who cut their nerves at the slightest of depression. And more than half of them are depressed.
Absolutely.
So you deal with them in a very different way. Career counseling of today is very different from what it was 25 years back, 30 years back, or even 15, 20 years back. You deal with them with certain basic questions. Why do you want to do what you want to do? So at one side, you talk about an India where 75% of India is less than 50 years of age and 50% of India is less than 40 years of age and 15 crore people. That's one. And second side, you have huge innovations. The world's smallest and least costly water filter, smallest and least costly diabetes testing machine, smallest and least costly electrocardiogram. A lot of innovations have come from many Indians outside India. And I have this question that I keep facing every now and then. Indians who go outside India, become a Sundar Pichai or a Satya Nadella or even a Rishi Sunak for that matter. What happens to Indians in India? Why is the entrepreneurship ecosystem so bad? Why are we not able to create entrepreneurship renewal, integration of top-down processes? And the answer is lack of career counseling when they were between 10 and 25 years of age. That is the clientele we are dealing with.
Absolutely.
Go to them. I keep saying this, career counseling is not just or profile building or summer schools, or we began one of the first summer schools. Today, these days, everybody is doing a summer school, a winter school. We were among the first to start a summer school at Flame University. Everybody else copied. I think the concept we're trying to tell here is, it is not just about counseling or profile building or helping a student get a scholarship and go to London Business School or join Flame or Ashoka or Plaksha or Balaji, where I am currently.
Absolutely.
It is not just about getting an admission or getting a scholarship, or it's not about choosing the right institution. You know, we keep saying any MBA versus the right MBA, any BTech versus the right BTech, liberal education, law, design. I am told there are careers in psychology and music management which are far better paying than conventional engineering careers, and much of it is true. Beyond all this, what matters is the student who's in school, that 10 to 25-year-old, ask him, what is it that he lives for? Does he have a motivation in life? Does he have an aspiration? Most of them do not. Create the aspiration. Tell them stories. Have some small success stories. Blow them out of proportion. I think that is what we are looking at. That is the culture we need to create. It is tough, I understand, because in a country where even today parents influence everything, and most of these parents themselves haven't achieved too many great things in life, and they try to achieve those things through their students. Pressure points are tremendous. That makes him all the more depressed. You need to motivate them. He's already depressed. You put pressure on him, all the more. You need to tell him the right advice.
But how do we break this nexus of obsession of parents with conventional streams like engineering and medical? People are not coming out even with this very smallest of tasks that we talk in career counseling, that there are careers beyond medical engineering. What should be done with them?
You know, sir, somebody once asked me, why are you so obsessed with career counseling, profile building, summer schooling, boot camping, etc., etc.? I used to keep shouting at the top of my voice, graduation is like marriage. Do it late, don't do it wrong. MBA is like marriage. Do it late, don't do it wrong. I think one of the ways which is known to me, which I've been doing all life, in trying to make parents more aware and more educated of what's happening. Don't treat this as a profession. Career counseling is not just a profession. It's actually a mass movement.
Absolutely.
It is what Mahatma Gandhi did, salt satyagraha. It is the cultural revolution of China. Maybe a very small, in terms of magnitude, a miniaturized version of the independence movement of this country or the cultural revolution of China. But what career counseling is, it is a movement. Have counseling sessions. Let me give an example to you. I spoke about 1,200 universities and 50,000 colleges in this country. The leadership of these universities and colleges, we have vice chancellors, deans, directors, associate deans, associate directors, they're all the leadership material of these 50,000 plus colleges and 1,000 plus universities. How many of these vice chancellors, directors, deans, principals, school, and if you add those 4 lakh schools to it, how many of these principals or leaders are A, good understanders of human psychology and human behavior, B, good administrators, C, good leaders.
Absolutely.
And the answer is minuscule. You can actually count them on their fingers in terms of
Absolutely.
percentage. You can actually devise a training program. It can be a 100 crore model. Maybe the next esteemed grower model is here. It can be a 100 crore model here. Training program for leadership in schools and colleges is the model of tomorrow. Similarly, career counseling for parents more than students
is important. Yes.
Look at what is happening. A lot of, there are engineering institutions which are shutting down. B schools are shutting down.
Absolutely.
6,000 B schools in India. There are many dark corners. I keep saying this, barsat se bachne ki auqat nahi hai, golabari ki baat karte hain, all because of marketing, advertising. Many of those institutions have shut down. Others will very soon shut down. We're living in an age of creative destruction. Go to the market. Parents, students, school teachers, counselors, principals. Tell them, not all old is good. Not all new is bad. Flame didn't exist 20 years back. Laksha didn't exist 20 years back. Balaji didn't exist 20 years back. Shivnada didn't exist 20 years back. Ashoka, Kriya, BML Munjal, Jindal Global University, Azim Premji, Mahindras, Ambani's. A lot of these universities didn't exist 20 years back. Some of them are corporate funded. Some of them are funded by a lot of other sources. But today, they've created a niche for themselves. They're rejecting students in thousands. I'm not saying you should reject them to become branded. The point is, take this to the market. We had a problem promoting Flame. I was there for almost half a decade, heading admissions and marketing. It was so tough. People would just typically conventionally go to a Symbiosis or a just because of the brand. Go and tell them that the way you change. Nokia was selling more mobile phones for 35 years than any other company is dead. Motorola made the first mobile phone for decades. Technology meant Motorola. Today, company is dead. Enron, Kodak, Arthur Andersen, a lot of these huge companies, they were number one, number two, number three in their sector for many, many years. Kodak made the first. Same is happening with institutions. Educate parents on that. When you can change your gadgets based on the latest technology, the mobile phone will be with you for years together. Do the same thing with an institution. Educate them on that. I think that is, we need to go and tell them. Parents will continue to be a problem, I understand. But education is, we keep saying this.
Yes.
जब कपड़े खराब होते हैं, you iron them. जब इंसान, I would not say खराब, but misguide होते हैं, तो train them.
ठीक करना चाहिए.
Training is the only solution for this. Take it to the grassroots levels. Create more career counselors. Create more people where commercial needs is not what drives them. Money will follow. I firmly believe. I think 11, 12 years back or 15 years back, this country saw a revolution in the transportation industry. There was an Ola Uber movement, which organized one of the most unorganized industries, which is the transportation industry. Somebody has to do it for higher education and formal education. I think, I'm heading towards creating something. Let's be part of that. There is no bigger industry to organize than this. You can actually make thousands of crores in only trying to organize it. People say entrepreneurship is about creating opportunities. Yahan pe to bana banaya hai. You don't have to create. Just fill up the existing gaps. Just fill up the existing gaps. Look at them. I can see them all. 1,000 crore industries here in making.
How do we beat this social environment wherein people still want to go for government jobs? People are obsessed with job mindset in India, and we have very less people those who promote entrepreneurship or that kind of environment. So how do we change this? How to bring this kind of change into the entire education fraternity, wherein people start valuing entrepreneurship more than finding a job through courses like engineering, medical, or other courses, even MBA kind of courses that we talk about today.
So there are two aspects to it. Many more, but two that come to my mind. We're a country where people do not want their students to go to a government school, but they want them to go to a government college or a government job.
Yes.
That's an irony of itself. That needs to change, and I'm sure people are working towards that. Number two, a lot of times, I was lucky enough to meet Mr. Narayan Murthy a couple of months back, spent good time with him, spoke with him, almost an hour of interaction. I was able to felicitate him and so on. When I meet people like him, there's this famous saying called as the Indian crab mentality. There are 7 major oceans in the world, I'm sure. The Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, Dead Sea, and so on. Arabian Sea. You pick up from crabs. You pick up crabs from any of these oceans, kekedas, what they call. Pick them up from any of these oceans, put them in a basket, open the lid, come after half an hour, all the crabs will go off. And then you go to the Indian Ocean. This happens only with crabs of the Indian Ocean.
Okay.
Only with crabs of the Indian Ocean. You take them and put them in a basket.
Okay.
You leave them for 2 hours, come after that, nothing happens. All the crabs are there. Because the moment the first crab starts climbing up, the other guy pulls it down. In the cocktail lounge, in the airport, in the business class flights, we often talk about the Indian crab. But yet, when I meet Narayan Murthy sir, when I meet the others in the same fraternity, when I meet people many levels below them, you all talk about the Indian crap, but the opportunity that Indianness is, because a lot of American Western companies are actually imbibing Indian principles, Indian ethos, and we in America are importing what they are doing as Western, whereas much of this actually died. A lot of companies like Nokia have paid the price of being, and we are importing that as American or Western. So, what I'm trying to put here is, a lot of us in India believe that entrepreneurship is something that does not come naturally to us.
Absolutely.
I've had this discussion with a lot of academia, entrepreneurs, corporates, social workers, people in United Nations and World Bank. And some of them come up with a mindset, which is true actually. The mindset says India is a country where society is very important.
Even the best of institutions, IITs or IIMs,
are still job seekers, not job creators.
Absolutely.
And people blame this on society, and they're actually partially correct. They say we're the only country where you have more festivals than number of days. हर दिन एक त्योहार है. हमारे लिए समाज society बहुत important है. Therefore, Indians are not innately, because we are so society driven, we are so socialistic driven. Therefore, we are not capitalistic. Therefore, we're not risk taking. Therefore, we're not entrepreneurs. The problem is, all this has happened only in the last 70, 75 years. If you look at the last 7,000 years, we're one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Sanskrit, Tamil, one of the oldest languages.
Absolutely.
Look at the last 7,000 years of this beautiful place called India. There is nothing in our history, in our culture, in all our religions. There is no anything in our psychology or character that prevents entrepreneurship, which is why Lakshmi Narayan Mittal goes outside India and becomes so huge. Which is why a lot of these guys go outside India. Problem is a system that we created here from 1947 till 1997, monopolization, rate regulation. That is what killed entrepreneurship. But when I look at a lot of these emerging, upcoming, that's where people born post 2000 have an opportunity. For them, entrepreneurship is natural because they haven't seen bureaucracy, they haven't seen red tapeism, they haven't waited for 8 years for a Bajaj two-wheeler. For them, so I think it's picking up. I know the pace is very less, but again, once again, you have to go. Failure is not a bad thing. Even Napoleon, the world's greatest military general, lost many of the battles, but he won the bigger wars. So winners don't quit is fine, but quitters don't win is stupid. Sometimes you have to quit. Teach Indian students, Indian parents the invigorating concept of importance of failure. A lot of startups will fail. As I talk to you today,
we are so obsessed with success that nobody talks about failure.
Yes, be prepared for that. Teach them. As I talk to you, love sir, today, all over the world and in India, thanks to these kind of lectures on YouTube, entrepreneurship, venture capital, private equity, thanks to this, every day, 1,000 new companies start. We call them startups. By the end of the year, 900 companies don't survive, they die. 3 more years of the remaining 100 companies, 80 don't survive. And 3 more years of the remaining 20 companies, 17 are below average, 2 are above average, 1 is exceptional. Success by default is the property of the outlier, not the core.
Absolutely.
If I'm at the core, if I'm doing what everybody else is doing, I will never succeed. Go and tell people that it's okay to fail. The first girlfriend should not be a wife.
Absolutely.
If she is, there is a problem. So let that first startup go for a toss. Let it fail, doesn't matter. And tell young Indians, don't prefer those big jobs just because you get salary on the first. Work in a startup. It's okay if the startup number 1, 2, 3 fails. The 4th or 5th, which will make money, will make enough money to cover up for all those losses and take care. I think that is the spirit. Once again, a way ahead is educate them from when they're a child. Luckily for us, a lot of entrepreneurship forums. I know it's still very less. Even the best IITians and best IIM guys seek an employment, which has to change. I think give examples of non-IIT guys. I mean, I am non-IIT, non-IIM, and I've had IIT, IIM guys working under me. And sorry to say, but some jokers, who did not take my advice and they've gone down the drains and so on. Many will teach them that entrepreneurship has got nothing to do with having a degree from a top school or even going to college or school for that matter.
So for that matter, I've seen as per the recent data, there has been a huge increase in the number of Indians going abroad for their education. They're spending hard-earned money of Indian, I would say, domestic markets to
taking
foreign
loans
markets and taking loans. So how far is this going to, help, or is it going to further, create problems for them?
Well, the good thing is you'll start finding paneer in Japanese universities very soon. You'll start tasting, you'll have more restaurants in UK offering curry or dosa than offering pasta. That's a good thing on a humorous side. But yeah, obviously on the other side, there is concern, needless to say. It's not being seen today because of the population explosion that we have, because of the children being born. We're the youngest country in the world. But I keep saying this, one should not be very happy that we have a very huge youth population. We all say 25 to 30% of the world's under 25 lives in India. But if half of them migrate and go outside and contribute to their GDPs, I see a problem. Which is fine. I'm happy with Sundar Pichai and blah, 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 Satya Nadella. But I see a problem if most of them migrate because they are contributing to their economy
Because we are replacing China very fast.
very fast. Absolutely. That's exactly what you're doing. That's A. B, those who left over India, those who are left over in India, you might say it's a demographic dividend, but you can actually see a demographic disaster happening if you don't transform them to entrepreneurs or job seekers. So again, going back, like we had a Gandhi or a Nehru or all these great guys, Savarkar, who actually came back from, they're all Cambridge, Oxford, UK educated lawyers came back to India. Somebody has to take that course. Go and tell it to them that being an Indian in India is not a bad thing after all.
Absolutely.
Contribute something to your country. You want to go abroad, fine. Spend a few years, come
But
back.
the sense of faith has to be there within your
Absolutely,
own
sir.
country
It
and
is.
the economy that we are talking about, a 5 trillion economy.
Correct.
So how do you feel? Are these things going to happen?
Well, on paper, yes.
On paper,
Obviously,
yes.
on paper, yes. I wouldn't say more because I don't want to be the bad guys of politicians. On paper, yes. But I think the challenge is, people will continue to go, keep going. It's gone up drastically in the last 5 years. And that's again a good opportunity. I think a lot of Indian
We are
universities
seeing
are coming up.
foreign universities coming in India. Deakin has already set up
Deakin has
their,
already started. I mean,
their-
Dubai, for example, there are 50
Yes,
plus foreign
yes,
universities
yes.
in Dubai where
And
none
India
existed
is
a few years
starting
back.
now.
It is. I think the opportunity again is, leverage this. A lot of Indian universities are offering twinning programs.
Correct.
You spend 2 years India, 2 years abroad, 1 year India, 1 year abroad.
Yes.
I myself, at Sai Balaji ISMR, my college, we are talking with a lot of institutions. We're talking with institutions like Cambridge, like Cardiff, like Birmingham, like James Cook University in Singapore. But again, the crux is if you have quality learning. I'll give you the other example, love sir. I know of faculties in US, in Los Angeles, in Stanford, in Harvard, in Kellogg, in Wharton, Indian faculties there who want to come
Yes,
back
Indian
to India,
faculty is there. Yes.
who want to
yes.
come, who are dying to come to India and teach.
Yes.
They don't know where to go.
Hmm.
So I'll be very soon addressing a forum. It's organized by a scientist friend of mine who stays in the US. I'll be addressing a forum online, talking to Indian fraternity and some Americans as well who are in America who want to come to India. They don't know flame, they don't know Ashoka, they don't know
Yes,
Plaksha.
yes,
So I think the reverse brain drain also needs to be. So I think that's balance.
That has to happen.
But yes, opportunity for entrepreneurs like me is for every one good American or for every one good Spanish university, there exists one which is not so good. Talk to that not so good university. The fact that so many Indians are going abroad, use it as an opportunity. Tell a model to him saying, I'll make an Asia batch, an India batch. I will send the complete batch to you. I don't want to be sending you one kid and doing dalali on that or commission. That's not the model.
Correct.
Send an entire batch. Now, because the batch is mine, I can dictate terms with respect to who will be the dean, what will be the academic interface. They will
You
appoint
can ensure the quality of the batch.
in my way. I
overall.
can even do the product design, program design. And it should be such that a lot of them are coming back to India and getting jobs or becoming entrepreneurs. Or I establish my own centers of Indian universities in those colleges where you provide placements to them there. Thereby, Indianness can go out there as well. I think that is the opportunity. I'm already talking to Spanish universities, Australian universities, European universities. They want Indian students. So use it as an opportunity rather than promoting the top 5, top 10, top 20. That they don't need promotion in any case. Talk to the other ones. Do a tie-up with them. Have an exclusive agreement. Indian students, Indian faculty, foreign campuses, study back in India or settle there through your roots.
Correct.
You create that community. And of course, there are LinkedIn, there are Facebook, there is Instagram. Create those communities. Talk about this country. I am okay with Indians going outside India, but I want them to go and talk about this country. Get that, value flow happening, best practice transfer happening, synergies happening. I think that is what can. We are anyways living in a place where Bombay, Singapore flights are more economical than Bombay, Delhi. If you book them in advance, use globalization to your advantage, to your benefit, rather than revolting saying why they're going abroad. They will go abroad. Your country has no infrastructure that helps them. There's power failure all around. India mein sab kuch der se hota hai. You have Indian stretchable time.
Absolutely. We cannot stop that.
So why would you not? I mean, I was told there's an Indian politician in Slovenia who is one of the top politicians there. So Eastern Europe, forget US and London and Australia and Canada, Eastern Europe, which is not as developed as there are Indian politicians there. So people will go, take it as an opportunity, become entrepreneurial, use these benefits. Indian students, Indian faculty, study abroad, placements back in India or abroad, create that ecosystem. And that's what we've been talking about for 7,000 years. Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one single place. Geography has become history. Use it to your benefit. There are companies launching their products and services on the same day in US, UK, Germany, Japan, Canada. Be an educational service provider to them. And I think one more important message here is a lot of our universities are still into conventional.
Absolutely.
Online.
Mindset is already conventional. There is not much change that is happening. Even there are no leaders, those who can bring that change in those universities.
You can have training programs on leadership
Absolutely,
development.
we can
That's
do
what
that.
Create skilling programs. A university today in India, there are 1,000 plus of them.
Hmm.
A college today in 50,000 plus of them doesn't think it is their moral or commercial or ethical or social obligation to go to a school in a place like Jharsuguda, Chhattisgarh, and do a skilling program for a kid studying in 8th, 9th, 10th. Use the online mode. Technology is COVID has taught us technology. Use it. Although it's a bad way to learn, but that's how it is.
Yes.
Use technology. Create skilling programs in financial technology, marketing technology, digital marketing, information technology, artificial intelligence. Create those. Do not think I'm a university which will have only classroom or online programs for bachelors and masters. If your business model has bachelors and masters programs offering you X crores or X 100 crores of revenue, you should have an equal amount of a product line, equal 100 crores or 200 crores of product line with products which have got nothing to do with undergrad, postgrad, with products which have to do with skilling, with profile building, with career counseling, with content and persona. Be a university. I don't know of a single university or a college which is doing that today, not even a school. I think that's the benefit there. That is how you create a movement.
Absolutely.
You take them to the masses. Many will come, some will not take you today, but they'll take you some point of time. Educate them. Jobs in psychology can give you much bigger, much more compensation than typical engineering jobs. Because most of our millennials have a mental health issue. Who will solve them? A psychiatrist. There are companies which are hiring more psychology graduates than engineers. There are companies hiring more theatre, dance, drama, music graduates than engineers and MBAs. Talk to this. People don't know. You can have a career today in almost any field that you want to. Philanthropy, psychology, sociology. These are unheard of, unseen, but they can have careers in that. A friend of mine is an engineer from IIT, went to Singapore, went to Apple, Google, Harvard, now with United Nations as a diplomat. Who would have thought a gold medalist and one of India's finest brains is actually working in senior level diplomacy? Very few Indians even understand about careers in whereas, Chanakya Niti we were the oldest in terms of teaching diplomacy to the world.
I think that's what we call profile building.
Absolutely.
That you yourself, develop from the start of your career to where it is, going. So, sir, I would like to know from the student perspective and from the parents' perspective as well, those who are listening to this podcast. What should be the ideal profile of a child? Is it just a buzzword like build your profile and do any kind of activities, or this has something to do with your core abilities? So I would like to hear from you about this profile building. You yourself are a profile builder, so we should have some ideas from you how to deal with this problem of profile building.
You know what? I wish it becomes a buzzword soon. At least उसी बहाने लोग उसको accept तो करेंगे, apply तो करेंगे and so on. But jokes apart, serious jokes apart, profile building is a way of discovering the you inside you. The way you want it, not the way your mom or dad or school teacher or even a counselor like me. Discovering the you inside. The first step of profile. So for the last 10 years, me and my outreach team, me and my marketing team, today I'm a CEO, I handle the entire PNL, but I used to be marketing head till a few months back for many, many years. And for the last 10 years of being director marketing admissions at Voxen, at Flame, and a lot of, I think what we've done as a team, and I've been blessed to have a team which has been with me for, people, Vakyas and Sonals, and you met them along, Anju ma'am, 15 years, 20 years, been with me. The mandate is simple. Meet at least 1 to 1.5 lakh students and parents every year. Come bandwidth, we'll meet more. Don't tell them about Flame or Voxen or Shri Balaji or talk to them to understand themselves. So first step of profile building is, unlike other universities, other university marketing heads, as it is, there are very few good marketing heads every 6 months, and that's the opportunity for me to create more. Unlike the others who just talk about their universities, come to me, nonsense. Why should I come to you? बरसात से बचने की औकात नहीं है, गोलाबारी की बात करेंगे. 5 साल बाद यूनिवर्सिटी है कि नहीं पता नहीं, आधे बंद हो गए, बाकी बंद होने वाले. What are you talking about? Cut the crap. Go to a kid. Let him be in class 8th or 9th or 10th. We began one of the first summer schools in India. And when everybody was doing a summer school, we began the first online summer school. So we said, online summer school, winter school, monsoon school, Diwali school, rainy school, etc., etc. Come up with creative programs. Your TG is between 13 and 23 years.
Absolutely.
And even before and after, anybody who thinks he's confused in life, talk to him. Step 1 of profile building. Make a student take a step back. Ask him to write about himself. 3, 4, 5, 6 lines.
Absolutely.
When was the last time you felt like cutting your nose? Mention it. And and they open up. They don't open up to their parents and teachers, but they open up to us because they think
absolutely.
you need to have. So take it as a business model which has emotions inside. I think that is, don't build around an Excel sheet saying I'll do 500 crores. It will happen by default, but there was a old movie dialogue which says business के लिए पैसा चाहिए.
Absolutely.
मैं भी यही कह रहा हूँ, business के लिए पैसा चाहिए, पैसे के लिए business
Business
नहीं.
नहीं चाहिए.
So do not do the business that you want to earn. Money will follow. Step 1, talk to him, connect with him. आज तक उसको किसी ने पूछा नहीं बेटा तो जिंदा क्यों है, किसी ने पूछा नहीं आपको करना क्या है. Ask him to write 3, 4, 5 lines about himself, hobbies, interests, career confusions. When was the last he felt depressed? He'll say every day. Why? Make him write that. Ask him to send it to me or any of my counselors, my career counselors, my team of outreach guys. We will review based upon what he writes. Ask him a few questions. Step 1, he will write those answers and interaction starts.
Interaction starts here.
Step 1. Step 2, I am personally on more than 500 WhatsApp groups. I've been doing it for 10 years now. It's called profile building 1, 2, 3 till whatever. Make the student part of that group. We charge a nominal 500 rupees.
Absolutely.
If I give it free, there'll be no value. So we charge a nominal 500
That's
rupees.
right.
I have guys like Siddharth Rajans, United Nations, Pamit Anand, senior guy with Times of India, Hoop Ramnani, Deutsche Bank, a lot of big guys on these profile building groups. The corporate, the academia, the venture capitalists are available to counsel these students should the need arise. Form those WhatsApp groups. Let it be an open interaction. Students come
Absolutely.
up with,
It has to
and
be
we
like
don't have more than 30 kids on any WhatsApp group. 31 we use the next WhatsApp group and so on. Multifold. Step number 2. Step number 3, interact with him in such a way that his SOP eventually gets ready. 10 interactions with him, SOP is ready. You know what to make him do. A lot of them have taken arts in 11, 12 because girlfriend did that. A lot of them have taken science because father forced them to. Liberal education is the step forward. I know of a university in Chandigarh called Plaksha, where you can do engineering with psychology, engineering with design, engineering. First 6 to 8 months of graduation after class 12, don't ask the kid to go for a BCom or a BSc or a BTech, or, which is where I think liberal education as a concept and interdisciplinary studies as a phenomenon is wonderful. Give him multiple majors, give him multiple minors, give him multiple subjects. A lot of them will still under family pressure do a BBA because he comes from family background. But even if I have 10-20%, and that's what Flame used to do, that's what Kriya and Ashoka does so well. We're trying to create that same at Sai Balaji and so on. Even if 10-20% change, having been subject to all those things, I think that's, so we have seen this, kids who are IIT dropouts join a good university, take up a psychology major, music minor. He's an IIT dropout, mind you. He's supposed to be good at maths and science, but he takes a psychology major, music minor. Currently he's working with A.R. Rahman sir as a music manager. There are people who are doing sports. There are people who are doing sports management. One of my own youngest cousins spent 6 months in India, 6 months in UK, and she's earning much more than what I am earning, being double her age. She is a psychiatrist and a music manager expert.
Great.
Take up these stories, blow it out of proportion, tell the world about it. So I think throughout, NEP talks about that, but that's the problem with India. The Americans talk about teamwork, Japanese do it. We need to do that.
We have all policies in place, but it is all the kind of action that we need to make.
Even a bad strategy implemented well can be better than a very good strategy implemented badly. We're a country, classic example of great strategies being implemented. So go back to the, I am an execution. My boss keeps saying I'm an execution chap. Yes, strategy is all good, but execution what does it matter to a guy in a place like Madhyam Gram, district West Bengal, whose father is a hand rickshaw puller in Calcutta? If my strategy or my so-called profile building or career counseling can go to him, I think I've done my job. And of course, scholarships. Last 10 years, we've been having a lot of initiatives. There are schools in India, the Jain, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya group.
Yes.
The Vidya Gyan by Shivnadar group. These are schools where students who are from very lower end of society, carpenters, cobblers, sweepers, people who can't afford their sons and daughters study, make sure that there are universities in India which provide funding.
We have need blind scholarships for them, so they have wonderful concepts which are in India now.
One of the universities where I used to work, they had funding problems. So I actually reached out to my own LinkedIn, which is mind you 10,000 people, CEOs of companies, Sunil Goyal sir, former chief operating officer Airtel, currently heads North India's one of North India's biggest venture capital funds. We went to him, seeked funding, and I got 10 lakh rupees in a matter of 2 months to feed these poor. So money is available. There is funding available. Go and tell them that, boss, if need be, we'll even sponsor your boarding, lodging, everything can be done. You just need to choose the right institution, take time. And in spite of me doing all of this, there are a lot of them who will not be able to leave a Kanpur city or an Allahabad city or a rural India after class 12. Offer online learning programs for those people. Encourage double graduation. Encourage a kid who cannot leave Kanpur because his father is Orthodox or his grandmother is Orthodox and she's a female child or a male child for that matter. Like, maa ka ladla beta hai. He or she cannot leave a Kanpur, a Faizabad, Ayodhya, any of those districts in Orissa, in UP, in Bihar. He can't leave that place after class 12. No worries. Let him go to a nearby college. वहाँ वैसे भी कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Let him still do a correspondence program from a Maharashtra State Skill University, MSSU, or a program like Symbiosis or an Amity or a Skills University, which can be a full-time degree imparted through online means through enabled counselors like us in that place there. Because in those 3 years, he will get to meet Shah Rukh Khan online. He will get to meet Rajiv Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Mohan Bhagwat on the same platform, get to know differentiating thoughts. And at least his masters, maybe from India or abroad, will be from the right place. And one very, very important aspect of profile building is encourage internships. It is not that you have to be a college graduate to do it. I have known of kids who are in class 8, 9, 10th whom we have helped get internship. Without referring to internshala or any of those, important as they are, internships can happen even for school kids. 10-day, 15-day online internship. Like I say, winter school, monsoon school, Diwali school, online school. You can have internships given online. You don't need to be a graduate for doing internship. Internships, certification programs. You don't need to go to Coursera or LinkedIn Learning or Udemy and do those paid. The same platforms also have free certifications. Learn those. We need to educate the world on marketing, technology, finance, certification programs. Profile building encourages online certifications. Most of them are free of cost. Internships, most of them are provided through my own network or the network I'm trying to build. And most important, learning a foreign language. It's very critical from class 8, 9, 10th. Most people think English to be foreign language. No, it is not. Our constitution was drafted in Hindi and English. It's an Indian language. Learn a foreign language. The moment a student is busy learning foreign languages, doing online programs, doing internships, talking to CEOs. I have a program called Coffee with CEOs, online program on the profile building. The moment you expose a kid to so much of knowledge and wisdom, abundance at that level, trust me, the least he will do is to join a mediocre college. He will join the right institution, even if that means a delay from what he is doing, and so on. I think that is the way ahead. But again, we need more people to support this movement. It's not one man. I can vision. I can be a visionary. I can visualize it. We need people at the grassroots level to implement this and take this forward. That's the future.
That's the future.
Yes.
So another thing I wanted to know, probably this we can keep it as a last question over here. So when we are talking about career counseling, probably I find the absence of information in those counseling sessions that people still prefer to go for conventional education or conventional universities to do these BA, BSc, BComs, and I see 90% of them going only for the degrees where there is no mention of skills that are being taught. So Indian education seems to be divided between two areas. One is a new age university that talks about skills and other areas which are more relevant for current environment. On the other side, we have conventional universities which are working on the same pattern that used to be 70 years old. So what to do with this 90% of the students which are going to these conventional universities and doing nothing?
Let me add.
Yes.
You spoke about two lines. The Flames, Ashokas, Plakshas, Shivnadars, the Balajis, the BML Munjals, the modern institutions. And you spoke about the 90%. Now, the modern institutions are corporate driven, corporate funded, philanthropy oriented. Flame is funded by one family, so is Shivnadar, so is Azim Premji. But the main business of that family is not the university.
Absolutely.
It is somewhere else. But they have set up an Institute of Excellence and so on. Few of them, fantastic, good ones, islands of excellence. The ocean that you spoke, 90%. Why is the ocean so?
Yes.
Why is the smell of the place? I remember I was born in West Bengal, Calcutta. Even today, when I go there to meet my relatives, and a lot of us are settled there for last many, imagine June, July, August is when because I get to spend time, because that's when their children are in vacation. So, the generations meet and so on. June, July, August in Calcutta. Humidity is 94, 95%. Temperature is, much of the time you actually are inside home, on bed with an AC on. And you say, hot, humid, Calcutta, summer. Then for my vacation, I go to Europe. Fontainebleau, France.
Yes.
You take a walk on any of the Fontainebleau forests. This is not just academic, this is practical.
Absolutely.
Take a walk. Suddenly you're jumping. Suddenly you're holding a branch. Suddenly the child in you is awake. The smell of the place is so beautiful. As opposed to 98 degrees in Calcutta or Bombay or humid India, you go to, nothing has changed. It's the same you. What has changed is the smell of the place.
Absolutely.
Education today, formal education, higher education is affected by smell of the place.
Correct.
What is the background of these 90% colleges, schools, where a student goes only for getting a degree?
Correct.
They are owned by either real estate guys, dare I say politicians, or people whose main business is not that. Leave them apart. They will do what they... The courage that we have today, the strength of India as a country is our school teachers. Unfortunate that teaching is not a very highly paid career.
Correct.
There are more than 3.5 lakh schools in India where a teacher's salary, most of them are female teachers, a female teacher's salary is decided by the rent that she pays in the house that she stays. Because husband will do every other thing. You have to only support him for the rent.
Correct.
Aapka rent 6,000 rupees, main aapko pagar 6,000 rupees dunga. That is the situation with lakhs of schools in India. Educate those teachers. Educate those counselors. It's a business model because you made training program out of them. Nobody's thought of done. Tell them the importance, because they are the ones who are your change makers for these 10 to 15 crore students who are studying in those schools. Educate them, do training programs for them, skill them. There's a reason why doctors or dentists or teachers in US, in UK are so highly paid. We need to help the teachers and counselors. How many schools in India have counselors? A few hundred.
Very few.
How many of those counselors know what counselling is? A friend of mine works in a school as a counselor, a good big IB school. Why did she join there? Because she is a divorcee, single mother, didn't know what to do, went to Oxford, came back with a degree, she's a counselor. She doesn't know the spelling of Harvard, Harvard. She still thinks it is Harvard. I told her Hayward's is a liquor company, it's not. That is the quality of Indian counselors in most of our schools. You can't change that. What you can do is lakhs of teachers in those lakhs and lakhs of schools, crores of teachers, have a training program for them. Once teachers and counselors are trained, because they interact with kids day in and day out, make them, what Dhirubhai Ambani said, Dhirubhai Ambani entrepreneurs. And that is the model you need to take it to them. Have them have that vision. I think IC3 is doing a fantastic job.
Yes, IC3 is wonderful.
But again, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, but
you need
for
to
very
be
few.
in what Dr. C.K. Prahalad, late Dr. C.K. Prahalad says, fortune lies at the bottom of the pyramid. Be an IC3 for the masses, which is again going back to my salt satyagraha movement. So it's not only for students, it's for teachers. That's the only way. It will take time, but then,
I understand. It has been wonderful talking to you. I think everyone would have been delighted to watch this podcast, and you would have definitely might be having a lot of questions to ask. So you have comment section where you can put up your questions and we'll get back to you. And so nice of you, sir. It was wonderful talking to you. And we look forward to seeing you once again for a podcast 2 for you, specifically for you.
2.0. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you.